Welcome back, everybody. I just want to take a moment to go through the software that controls my light switches. Here we have, we're going to start with the family room here. We have a slider to do variable lighting. Obviously we got a straight on and off. Then we have emergency here. It's basically strobes the light. Figured at some point I'd strobe all the lights in the house at once just to see what it looks like. So we got that. This really just links back to itself. We have an event table where we can schedule, I believe 23 events is the way I have it set up. Here you have a settable dim level for the event. In this drop down, which I don't think you can see with my capture tool, you can select day of week, weekday. For time, we have the hours of the day, of course. Then you also have dusk and dawn, which it auto-calculates based on your longitude and latitude. Mode on and off, whatever, you know. Just add your event, delete your event. Down here we have the current time, uptime. Okay, so that's the main screen. I'm just going to go through these links down here. The first one is switches. It auto-discovers all the other switches. And you can, as you can see, here's the switches I've built so far. You know, you can, in the configuration, you can define certain things, like on the solder iron, you can't turn it on remotely, only off. You know, this one's the dual switch for the bathroom. We got the light, the fan. Those are timed off automatically. I do have to set that to go back to parent for the one that launched it, but minor detail. Let's see, we'll go into info, talk about what's there. This is really more stats for me, making the software, you know, the file, when it was compiled. Each size is something you have to watch, especially when serving up these web pages. Let's see, oh, that's my SSID, MAC address, signal level. We got sunrise, sunset, that's what I'm using for the dusk dawn settings. Just kind of the pin state, various timing states, and some info about how the ESP is set up. Alright, we'll move on to config. Got a variety of things in here. We have configure unit, variety of settings. I don't know if I have all the descriptions correct these days, but when you update this, it auto refreshes all these settings in the unit. Configure Wi-Fi. These are the ones it currently sees. This is where you set it up. That I believe you have to restart for it to reconfigure. Same with the IP settings. All my switches I have set to static IPs. Let's see here. Log data. This is just kind of a small log that I keep actually shrinking in size to keep from getting too small. Otherwise you can't serve up or edit pages. Let's see, file backup. File backup just generates a bunch of wget files or links to pull down all the config files. Let's see, spiffs. I didn't talk about that. These are all the files on the system. You can download them individually. You can edit them. Kind of just a basic text area where we can edit. If they get too big, you can't save them, but not too bad. Save, delete. We're not going to do that. Let's see. Let's go talk about notes right here. This kind of talks about all of the switches can be remotely triggered with different URLs. These are just sample ones, how to turn it on at 50%, how to turn it off, how to turn it on for 30 seconds. So when you send a timed activation like this where it's for 30 seconds. It records the current state of the light, sends it on for 30 seconds, and then returns to the current state. So if it's already on, you wouldn't notice. It's kind of more of a breakdown of the triggers and how they work. Also, you can activate macro files. That could be a series of these triggers. I haven't actually built the interface to do that yet. I mean, it works, but there's no link to kick it off other than a trigger. Just some stuff about the configuration, what to set it in the config files. So that notes is kind of where I'm keeping my notes on how it's set up. Let's see, files. We'll get back to that. Config. Let's go back here. Start OTA. You can't update it over the air unless you click that first. That helps you not accidentally update the wrong device. Lifestyle. Lifestyle here, I'm tracking the activity of the light switch 7 days a week. This room isn't actually used very much. So we'll go to dining room, config, lifestyle. And here we can see when it's turned on, what the brightness level is. Ironically, it's rarely we ever dim any switches, but I made dimmer switches. Let's see. So we have all the activity. It's virtually identical every day. The idea of this was then I'd have a checkbox when you go on a trip and you just check it, and then it would follow what it recorded for your daily usage. Let's go back on the family room one. Let's see, file back to lifestyle. You can back up that data. I don't have it auto backup because I don't want to wear out the flash. Macro builder. This is a work in progress for building those macros I mentioned earlier that you can. Or you can, build your file of actions. You got off, on, toggle, timed activation. When you do it on, then this is percentage. When you do timed activation, then this is seconds. Toggle obviously just switches it. If you do the same one twice, it takes it back out, puts it in. But it's a work in progress. What else we got? Lifestyle, macro builder. We'll talk about the bathroom switch because that has kind of a little more going on. They all run the same software now. This one has an auto shut off for 60 minutes on what we're going to call switch 1, and 120 minutes on the fan, switch 2. Don't know if okay, we have a drop down here that'll give us the selection of switches if we're adding events. The timed activation is controlled under configure unit. So we have the auto shut off for switch 2. We got the auto shut off for switch 1 right here. So the lifestyle tracking can only track switch 1. Oh, and we got names for the 2 switches if you got 2 switches. Otherwise, it's just taking it from the name and the IP config. As I get things more cleaned up, I will be sharing the software for the switches. There, everything's on. On the non-dimmable switches, of course, you don't have the percentage. So if you went in here, you wouldn't have the slider. There's not much to say about that. Got some on-off events for like the garage lights. Comes on at dusk. Thanks for watching.